Here's how to install our OCAM power fold mirrors for the 79 series Landcruiser. Lay out all the hardware and familiarise yourself with the kit. Each of the gaskets and screw covers are labelled L for the passenger side and R for the driver's side. Firstly, we need to prepare the wiring for the power fold mirrors. On the module harness, there are two sets of black and white wires that will need to be soldered to both the switch and the resistor. Solder the red wire from the switch harness to the white wire and black wire to black. Then solder the red wire from the resistor to the white wire, then black wire to black. This is what the harness should look like after connecting these together. On the switch harness, there is a green and blue wire connected to the power fold leads for the mirrors. These will need to be cut and soldered to the pink and orange wire from the module harness. Green goes to pink and blue goes to orange. After everything is soldered, cover the connections with either heat shrink or electrical tape to prevent shorting. The longer blue and green leads towards the end of the module harness need to be soldered to the power fold leads we had just cut before. So match the two colors and solder them together. The remaining blue and green leads closer to the module can be left for the time being. We will be tapping into the car's electronics later on. Undo the 4 Phillips head bolts holding in the OEM mirror. We recommend removing the top 2 first as the mirror frame is spring loaded. Use a plastic trim removal tool to remove the window switch controller. Disconnect the lead and set aside. Undo the 3 Phillips screws on the door handle. There is 1 behind the door latch and 2 behind plastic covers on the handle cubby. The door card has 19 plastic clips securing it to the door frame. Here are the locations on the door card, that way you know roughly where to insert the trim tool to pop them out. Be careful with this step as the door card is made of very thin MDF and can break pretty easily. Take your time and work the trim tool to pop out the clips, then set the door card aside. Use some thin fishing line to remove the plastic badges on the doors and gently rub off the remaining adhesive. Use some mineral turpentine or methylated spirits to soften and remove any residue. Using the mirror gasket as a template, mark a dot with a pen for where the wiring will be routed. Drill a hole using a pilot and then the step bit to widen the hole big enough for the mirror connectors to fit through. Drill slowly, that way you don't damage any internals or hit the window. Use a paint pen to protect the exposed metal from rust. Attach the mirror to the door with the large gasket in between. There is a smaller gasket that goes just above the bottom holes. The bottom screw holes will require the circular spacers included in the kit. There are also plastic caps included to cover up the screws once the mirror is installed on the vehicle. Repeat all these steps on the other side. You will need to remove some of the floor trim pieces in the footwell in order to gain access to the grommets where the wires will be routed. The best method is to use a yellow tongue that's been sprayed with a bit of lubricant, that way you can slide through the grommets a little bit easier. You may need to make a small cut in the grommet for the yellow tongue to slide through. Run the passenger side harness extension lead and the power fold lead through the grommet, and attach the extension leads to the included JST connectors. Make sure the wires match the connector on the mirror and plug them in. Connect the power fold leads as well. On the other end of the extension, insert the wire leads into the JST connector, making sure that it mirrors the other end. Repeat this step on the driver's side. Using an 8mm socket, remove the two screws holding in the bottom head unit panel, then use a plastic trim removal tool to pop out the head unit's plastic frame. This will give you access to the switch blocker on the switch cluster. Pop out one of these and install the OCAM power fold switch and connect it up. Remove the driver's side switch panel and replace the factory mirror adjustment switch with the one included in the kit. Then run the connector up behind the dash and connect it to the switch. For the power fold signal wires, you will need to solder the leftover blue and green wires from the controller box into the white and grey wires from the factory switch plug. This will allow you to make adjustments to both mirrors. In the driver footwell, you will need to locate a wiring harness that supplies constant power. In our case, we tapped into the accessories harness and soldered the positive and negative wires from the resistor that we left earlier. Then we ran the central locking power lead through the firewall and into the battery positive connector in the engine bay. You will need some additional wire to run that lead through the firewall. With all the wiring connected, power on the vehicle and test the mirrors. If everything works, then start reinstalling the head unit trim, floor trim, and door cards. And there you have it, your OCAM power fold mirrors are installed.